Hey everybody. I didn't even know I started. I'm such a dork. So this is for Single Parents Guide to the Galaxy. Because I'm still developing my channel and who knows where this is going to go. And I really don't care. I mean, I care, but I'm just doing what I want to do. And that kind of opens to what I want to talk about. My job is to raise my kids. Period. That's what I'm doing right now. That doesn't mean I give up on me. It doesn't mean that I stop doing what I want to do. What God prepared me to do. And that is to talk to you guys. So maybe one day you wake up in the morning and go, I can do it because God said I could do it. Because Jessica, through God, said that I could do it. Les Brown is one of my favorite motivator speakers. He just blows me out of the water because I always finish his sentences. And all these years, I didn't think I was successful. I didn't, But I never gave up. I never thought I was successful, so I continued to try to be successful. I always thought I was failing, so as that person that never gives up, I just continued to try to be successful at whatever I do. Right now, I'm raising my kids. I'm a single mom. Nothing I can do about it. Do I give up on myself? No. Do I give up on my kids? No. Have I gotten help from anybody but my dad? No. But you got to keep knocking. Just because they don't answer, you can't walk away. Just because you just keep knocking. Keep knocking on that door till somebody answers. It's kind of weird. It's like an irony that goes along with thinking that you're failing all the time. Because failure is the best lesson teacher, the best way to teach you about life. So recognize your successes, but always believe that you will fail. I know that sounds weird. Always know that you will fail. And that's okay. Fail as many times as it takes for you to get where you need to go. But you keep knocking. You keep going. You don't give up on yourself. You don't give up on your kids. You don't give up on your family. You don't give up on what you want to do. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm raising my kids. And I'm going to do the best job I possibly can doing that. And it takes commitment. And your kids may not turn out exactly how you plan for them to turn out, but that's okay. You're a single parent. You don't get the luxury of failing. You don't get the luxury. Oh, that's totally wrong. That totally was opposite of what I said I was going to do, what I was saying. But the irony is that if you do fail, then you actually are succeeding because you're learning from those failures. The option is to fail, is what I really meant to say. It's okay. I always tell my kids, you make mistakes. I forgive you. Because God forgives me every day. Did you learn from it? Yes. Okay. They do it again. Did you learn from it? Yes. Okay. At that point, they didn't learn from it. You sit down with them and go, okay, so you failed twice and you haven't learned from it. You told me you learned from it, but you did it again and you're sorry. So what are you going to do to change that? What are you going to do to develop a way to learn from those mistakes? Learn. Because One life. You have one life to contribute to this universe, to contribute to other people, to contribute to your children, to contribute to yourself. What are you going to do with it? You know, I remember this job that I got, and, you know, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, I still kind of don't. Right now, I'm still developing, and I'm okay with that. I mean, the guy who owns Chick-fil-A didn't start his business till he was 45. And look how successful that is. So, it's never too late. But I went to this job. I think I was 31. I just had my second child. And when I do something, I do it wholeheartedly. I don't skimp. I find out the best way to do it. And if I fail, I'm okay with that, like I've said. The first week I was there was a temp job, so I had to prove myself in order to keep the job. And I don't know how not to do the things I need to do to get the things done I need to get done. But I'm okay with failing. Does that make sense? No. Someone's calling me at 8 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning. So anyway. So I'm thinking back. I'm listening to Les Brown. And I'm thinking back about the time that I had this job. And I really loved it because I was helping people get an education. An online education. This was way back when it wasn't really that popular. And you know, the concept of something was like 15, 16 years ago. It wasn't real up and coming. But I saw it as an opportunity. I mean, that's huge. I knew 10, 15 years from then, and that would be a huge thing because I think about things in the future. I'm going to read it because I wrote it down and it was an inspiration. You know, I was really good at it. I was excellent at it. I blew everyone away the first 2 weeks I was there. And I actually got my really good friend, who I love dearly, and we don't talk very much, but she noticed. And I didn't even notice that she noticed that I was doing well because I just do my job. I just do the thing I need to do in order to get the job done. And if I fail, I fail, but I learned from it. So the first 2 weeks, I was hitting numbers that people were like, what are you doing? I mean, I wasn't lying to anybody. I was being completely honest. And of course, it's a sales job. I was completely honest with everything. Everything that I knew. If I didn't know the answer to the question, I would ask. But I refused to lie to anybody. And I wasn't a committed Christian back then. I wasn't a Christian at all. But I still had God in my life. I knew it. In hindsight, 2020. But what happened is I started and you know, I didn't realize I was doing this till later, but I was making other people look bad. People were just doing their job just to do the minimum amount not to get fired. I've never been that way. And you know, when you're that kind of person, you just assume everybody's like that too. My friend said to me once, you know, we're not like anybody. And I was like, I'm just like everybody else. I'm not any different than anyone else. And so I just kind of blew it off. But now that I'm looking back at it, and I've looked back at it, I really don't care what other people think. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do, despite what anybody else says. And that's not like everybody. Everybody gets just worried about the way they look, you know, am I going to succeed? They focus on the failures. They don't focus on the successes. But that was why I got fired. because I made somebody else look bad. Because I was motivated to do the best job I could possibly do beyond what everybody else was doing. And I didn't even know I was doing it. And I thought everybody else was doing the same thing I was. So when I got fired, I was totally like, well, what did I do wrong? I mean, come on. And guess what? It wasn't my performance. It wasn't that I didn't do a good job on my own merits. And a few years after that, I realized that I didn't want to work for anybody else. I was tired of just being Simoner's bee. They use the excuse, and this is politics. This is why I don't like working for large companies. Because somebody overheard me call somebody a bee. And I'm like, no, one of the managers, one of the people who have been there for years. And what I didn't realize at that point, I just was like, what did I do? I did everything I was supposed to do. Everything that was required of me, plus, again, it was a temp job. And I'm not saying that, to hold back in a position, because if you have to hold back to be successful, you're not in the right position. If you have to do the minimum just not to get fired, because if you do any more than what's required and it makes other people look bad, you're not in the right place. If you're that kind of person, you need to own your own business. You need to be your own boss. Because people aren't like you. You think they are, but they're not. If you're doing more than what's required and you're accomplishing and being successful at your job and it's making other people look bad and you get fired for it, you need to have your own job. You need to have your own business. It took me a really long time to realize this. I tried in the corporate arena for years. Because I know this is a cliche, but I've always just wanted to help people and I never knew what avenue that was for me. I found it doing what I'm doing now. I may not make any money off of it. I'm okay with that. But if I can help one person succeed, help another person fail and then succeed, or realize their failures so they can succeed, then I'm doing my job. And another thing, it's like, what I realized is like, I don't want a career. We're brainwashed as children and growing up to get a job, go to school, do this, do that. We're not robots. I want to live. And I always have. I've always lived. I go through the pain and I go through the failure and I go through my life. Now, I'm not saying I'm just getting through it. There's a difference between going through and getting through. I'm going through my life. I'm contributing and are doing my best to contribute at this older age. I guess I'm older. I still think I'm young. Depends on who you talk to. But I live every day. I wake up in the morning and I jump out of bed and I think about God. That is your impetus. Impetus means your motivation, the thing that gets you going. If you start that mindset, God's going to open some things for you. God's going to open some doors for you. Because we're not perfect, but God gave us the ability to succeed. But I didn't give up. And I'm starting to realize that That's an asset. You know, I'm listening to all these motivational speakers. Maximus, no bite. No. No. No bite. No. You hear me. You know what I'm talking about. Go. My dog is getting very big. Just be okay with failing. You know, like I said, we're brainwashed. No. To not fail. When failure is the best teacher. And I've said this over and over again, and maybe I need to say it until you guys get it. So be prepared to fail. But learn from your failures. That's what I teach my kids every day. Did you learn? Like I've told you, did you learn from it? Well, what'd you learn? And if they do it again? Well, I thought you said you learned that. You know, these are questions you can ask yourself. What did I learn from this? What is God trying to teach me to progress in my life? I thought I had something else. Oh. And most people don't have the commitment to be a parent. Most people are too selfish to be a parent. And they have kids and then they realize they're too selfish. If you wake up in the morning and think about yourself, don't have kids. If you, I know this is a little off topic, but I just want to say this and I'm probably going to go into another tangent on this. If you are afraid of repeating yourself over and over again, if that's an OCD thing for you, don't be a parent. Let someone else do the job. If you're OCD about a messy house, because kids make a mess, they make messes. Lots of them. And if you're not willing to clean up after someone else, don't be a parent. Let someone else do the job. And I'm not saying don't be scared. You can be scared. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to fail. If you don't keep your house clean every day and it's not perfect all the time, that's okay. Anyway, I hope this helps you guys. And this is just one of my, off the cuff, I was just listening to some motivational speakers and thinking about my life and how that related to my life and where I'm at. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the head, not the tail. Watch me. God bless, guys.